Welcome to the Irish NFL Show, and welcome back to our radio road coverage in association with Dunes and Drams. We are delighted to be joined by Bryan Walters. Bryan, thanks very much for stopping by the Irish NFL Show stand. It's great to have you here with us with Ring in tow.
The ring, yes. You know, you don't get to bring this out very much, so when you get the opportunity, you got to do it. So, and now what I was saying before is it's a little old now for the Seahawks, so we're hoping they can update the hardware. They need a new one. It's the only Seahawk ring, so hopefully they get number 2 this weekend.
What is the etiquette around when it's appropriate to wear the ring and not wear it? Because you're not doing that while you're washing the dishes at home, right? You're not rocking the jewelry quite in that situation.
That's a really good question. I don't think anybody knows. It's funny, before we do like team outings and stuff of our championship team, everyone's kind of like, hey guys, are you going to wear the ring? Are you not?
WhatsApp group.
Yeah, like no one really knows. So usually it's kind of a consensus kind of thing. So, but Super Bowl week, I figure it's a good time to bring it out.
Bryan, you know an awful lot about Super Bowl week. You've been there a couple of times. What does the preparation look like for the Seahawks?
Yeah, I mean, it's a wild week, especially given the distractions of this week. So when we did it, we were fortunate enough to prep twice, won one and lost one. What Pete Carroll had us doing was the week before the bye week, we treated that like it was a normal practice week. Like we were playing that Sunday. Mm-hmm. And it was Sunday when we were going to travel. But we went through all the install. We went through just a normal week because, we're home. And so that's what we would do for a normal home game. And so we were kind of prepped and ready. By the time we got to this week, all the distractions and all that, you kind of had the game plan in play already. So it wasn't as bad.
That's exactly what Joe Flacco said. One of the guys asked him the question. That's exactly what he said. He said, your prep week is the week before. You get through the circus then early this week. And we spoke to Mike McDonald actually today, or earlier on today. He said he's so glad it's Wednesday. They're back to football. And so next couple of days they can put the chatting to the likes of us behind them. So, and they're getting ready. Yeah. Just got to say, Bryan, before we move on, our travel partner is going to be sickened when he realizes he misses you. You were telling me before you came on air that you played the old Head of Kinsale in Ireland.
Oh, one of the best. It is probably a top 3 course I've ever played. Just the views and everything. It's incredible.
Next time you're going back, Dunes and Drams. That's where you need to,
okay,
that's
perfect.
Where you need to hit up. Dave Hayes, Dunes and Drams.
Bryan, this Seahawks passing game that we saw has to have arguably its best game of the season in the NFC Championship game up against that offensive juggernaut in the Rams. And they had to go to the air, and Sam Darnold had to deliver. And that receiving core, talk to us about the weapons that he has, because they put together a really nice variety in what they can do through the passing game. And we haven't needed to see them lean on it to the degree that they did in the championship game, but it's all there when they need it.
It's all there. It's the depth. I think anyone can kind of fill any spot at any time, which is the good a bit luxury to have when it comes to the receivers. But I mean, I could go on and on about JSN. We know that he's the beat to that heart, to everything. JSN is that guy. But then you go down the list, and Cooper Kupp, I mean, a guy that, you didn't really know what to expect coming in. You heard things that he was injured. You heard that he kind of lost a step, but he's actually been that perfect veteran presence for this team because, all year, he may have 2 catches, 3 catches a game, but kind of big catches, third down conversions, just kind of getting the offense going again. But then what I go to is that first playoff game this year against the 49ers. It was JSN's first playoff game. And I'm not saying that was why his stats were down. I mean, it's stats are stats. They won the game 41-6 or whatever it was. So not a big deal. But you saw Cooper Kupp make the big plays, kind of showing that he had been there before. He's been a Super Bowl MVP, he's been that. And so Cooper Kupp was able to kind of step up and show his experience in that regard when JSN that was his first playoff game.
Not just in the passing situations, but in run blocking, pass blocking situations as well, just showing that he's, there's no job too small for someone to step up and do a job to fill that role. We spoke to him earlier on actually, and he was really, really good with his time, really generous with his time. And Sam Darnold in his press conference joked that they race to the facility every morning, that if Sam Darnold ever manages to beat Cooper Kupp into the facility, which is rare, he said, he makes sure to chase him down and let him know. But it must be so important to have that veteran in there, still setting that standard, still leading by example, knowing that his role on the field might be a little bit smaller, mightn't be as much in the limelight, but knowing that you need to still set that example and do exactly what you're asked to do.
And there's 2 things to that. There's one, it's saying this guy was a Super Bowl MVP, this guy was a Triple Crown winner wide receiver. So when a guy like JSN, a guy like Rashid Shaheed comes in, they see this guy going in and digging a linebacker out on a big run play and not afraid to throw his body around. That's setting the example of this is how I got to be successful in the NFL. Then the second part of it is talk about the pass game. Well, the run game and the pass game with the Seahawks kind of mirrors each other. And if a wide receiver like Cooper Kupp, it's a run play. I'm just going to slowly, get in there and try to get in the way a little bit. Like that doesn't set you up for success on when you do the play action that the Seahawks love to do.
Yeah.
Really diving in there, like I'm going to block you, but then, hitting your corner route or hitting your drag route, hitting your over route that is set up by so much of this play action game that the Seahawks do. So, there's the two parts of it, the example, but then how it works in the scheme of things.
Brian, one of the things we've been really impressed by looking at it from the outside is the tone and the culture that Mike Macdonald has set in that facility since coming in. You're looking at, at a time, and we spoke about this on the show a little bit earlier today, a time when everybody's looking for the offensive genius, the offensive wunderkind. To have a coach come in from the defensive side of the ball, but do the things that Mike Macdonald has done, it's probably changing the mind of a lot of GMs and owners around the league right now. And I thought it was interesting that Jesse Minter was getting so much love this offseason, because owners are thinking a little bit differently now, and GMs are thinking a little bit differently, looking at what the likes of Mike Vrabel on the other side and Mike Macdonald have done with their teams.
The track record speaks for itself, right? I mean, going from Baltimore, we always knew Baltimore was known for their defense with Coach Macdonald at the helm of that. And then obviously at Michigan, wins a national championship with Michigan. So he's been successful, and he's always ran these successful defenses. But who really deserves the credit for this is John Schneider, the GM, because I think this is fascinating how they ended up hiring Coach Macdonald, because, you went from Pete Carroll, the oldest coach in the game, and you decided to hire the youngest coach in the game. A complete 180 from what that team had, or the culture was used to, I should say. And then he, Coach Macdonald, I would say he'd be the first to admit he's been finding his footing as he's went, from this first meeting to where he's at now. The level of confidence, the level of just expectations from his players, how he teaches things. He's just constantly improved. So he's been really, really fascinating to watch him grow, because he's grown as a coach and he's only going to get better too. But man, he's brilliant. His defense is just, it's so complex, and the scheming of it, it's been fun to watch how he's transformed this team in the last 2 years.
The speed, the aggression, the excitement and the enthusiasm that they seem to have on every single play. It's not just the talent that they have. These guys bring it on every single down.
Yeah, and it's about getting the right players too that want to be thrown in those spots.
And not that we want you to lay a blueprint now for the Patriots to succeed on Sunday, but if you're Josh McDaniels, if you're Mike Vrabel, how do you scheme for this defense? Because, they look, at the moment, they look impenetrable. So, but Josh McDaniels has been there. He's been there more than any other OC, I'd say, in history. And Mike Vrabel's been there as a player. He's brought that situational football that I suppose was the foundation for the Patriot way back to the Patriots again. So, what are they going to be looking to pick holes in the Seahawks defense?
Like what every coach does. You always look at where that team had struggled before. And if I'm McDaniels, I'm going straight to watch him against the Rams. Watch what Stafford did, how they handled that. The middle of the field was kind of picked apart a little bit on those. But it's also a game of chess there, because now Mike Macdonald's going, hey, they exposed us here. It is. So that's where it's so fun, because it's easy to talk like, oh, they're going to attack the middle field, it's going to work. But then there's also another team prepping for that.
Yeah.
But that's where coaches go. It's a copycat league. And I think Coach Macdonald, and McDaniel on the offensive side of the Patriots is, they're the pioneers, really. They're kind of leading the way, and everyone's kind of just trying to be like them right now. So, Josh McDaniel's going to have something drawn up. He's going to put his guys in situations. I think the biggest thing is to know the mismatches that he has. And right now, I think for both teams, the mismatches are going to be against the opposing team's defensive lines. Okay. Like that's going to be the big part. So how do you put your offensive lines in good situations to succeed where your quarterbacks actually have some time?
What do you want to see when you're sitting down to watch the game on Sunday, Brian? It's going to give you confidence that the Seahawks are where they need to be and they're on the right path.
It's going to be putting pressure on Drake May. And the one thing the Seahawks haven't faced much this year is a quarterback that can run, a quarterback that can scramble. I think Trevor Lawrence is probably the one quarterback that could really get outside the pocket and go. They did play Kyler Murray, but Cardinals weren't very good, so we'll just ignore that one. But Drake May, I think, can use his legs better than most quarterbacks in this league. So that'll be a challenge in itself. That the Seahawks like to drop into that too high coverage, kind of really cover the back end like that. And if a quarterback's not accounted for, he's going to take off. And Drake May will do that in a second. So if we see the Seahawks keep Drake May in the pocket, not kind of letting him scramble, you see those big defensive tackles, Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, kind of peeling off and able to trip him up before he tries to run, I'll say, okay, like Seahawks are in good shape here, and this should be a tough battle for the Patriots.
They should do it. In a word,
should. Should
Yes
will
or
they?
no, are you willing to-
Yes, I think they will.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, they will.
Well, for your sake, Brian, we hope they do, and we hope that this generation of players get to update that hardware, as you say,
There we
that it gets a fresh coat of paint and a couple of fresh diamonds into the mix as well. Brian, thanks very much for joining us on the Irish NFL.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's been great.
Anytime.